Hi guys. Everybody's been wanting me to do a video about my trip to Kenya, and I apologize it's taken so long to do it, but I've been really sick since I've been home, and that's kind of gotten in the way. But anyway, I had to do it, so tonight was the night. But first of all, I want you to know that this isn't going to be a bashing session. I know Jim has been bashing me in a lot of videos, but I'm not going to return the favor and give him the satisfaction of hearing that. So I just wanted to let you know a few things. I'll probably leave some stuff out, but my email will be at the end of this video, and you can email me and ask me any questions that you have if there's something that you want to know that I didn't touch on tonight. Okay? There's my dog. Okay, I flew out on a Saturday, and I got to Kenya on January 31st. It was a Sunday night, and it was very hot. I waited 2 hours to get my visa, and after that, I waited another hour and a half for my luggage, and only to find out that one of my bags didn't make it. So we stayed in Nairobi that night, and then the next night, about 10 o'clock, my bag finally came in. So we went and got my bag, and that was a Monday night. But I did forget to tell you that during the day on that Monday is when we went to see Orem. So that's why I was in sweatpants and a t-shirt, but that's no big deal. The day after we got my bag, we left for Mombasa. It was a long drive, and I wasn't used to the traffic there, so I actually cried like in the first hour, because all you can see is traffic coming head on, and they're making a 4-lane road out of a 2-lane road. But the trip to Mombasa was pretty cool. I got to see some zebras and some baboons and different things, and you can see those videos also on this YouTube page. But we went to Mombasa and got there. Jim said that he wanted me to talk to the people in his office in Tezo, which is north of Mombasa. And I didn't really understand why he wanted me to do that, but all right. So we stayed in Mombasa that night, and the next day we went to Tezo, to their office there. Come to find out, Tezo is a Sacco office, and Jim's Sacco business is like a loan shark company. I found out that day they charge 2% per month interest on the small business loans that they give those poor people, and 24% interest a year is not what I think would be fair, but that's, I guess, none of my business. So if you've seen all the videos where Jim has done the office openings all around Kenya, those are Sacco offices. That's where he makes a lot of his money, besides all the money that I'll tell you about later. But when we went to the Tezo office, Jim wanted me to give his employees a pep talk for some reason. Don't ask me why my words would have anything to do to influence them, but I did, and they were very nice people. I asked them if they had ever dug any jiggers, and they acted like I didn't know, or they didn't know what I was talking about. We ended up staying that night again in Mombasa. The next day, Jim went to look at new cars, new SUVs, because he thinks he needs another new SUV, which I think he's been hinting and crying about on his YouTube videos about needing more money for a car. But what most people don't know is that he has a loan for the car he has now, and he pays $700 a month, or 70,000 Kenya shillings a month for that vehicle. So he doesn't need the donor's money. He finances his vehicles. On the way back, I got to see more zebras and antelope and fed some baboons. It was really cool. But it was a very, very long drive. We had to stop overnight and stay on the way there, because the total driving time was about 18 or 19 hours. We finally got back to Bungoma, or to Bungoma, on a Friday afternoon, and I finally got to meet the office staff. We went straight to the office and I met everybody, and that's when I met Aaron, the accountant. And Jim assured me that they had been working hard to get all of the books in order and everything was in great shape. I shouldn't find any problems, that the books had been audited and everything was straightened out. So I said, okay, great. I thought my work was going to be easy. And I got the first set of books and went back to the hotel. And that's when I started finding all the problems with the record keeping. So the next Monday, I went back to the office and got another set of books and also talked to Jim about the state of the first set of books I'd looked at and told him they were a mess. And he asked me to talk to the staff. And I said, why? And he said, well, because they won't listen to me and they will just slander me and talk bad about me behind my back and they'll quit. And I said, well, you're the boss and they should listen to you, and also that if you would pay them more, they would be willing to stay and they wouldn't quit. His response was that people in hotels and the people that work in other types of businesses around there don't make any more money than his staff does. And I reminded him that his staff work in offices and office jobs should be paid at least 2 or 3 times what people in hotels make. And I don't think he liked that too much, but I thought that I had a valid point. That day I also got another set of books and went back to the hotel and started doing a lot more digging and trying to reconcile some of the things I had found, like the income that was stated on the summary I was given. And I had a book of expenses, but nothing for income. That's when I started asking for the Western Union receipts, the PayPal receipts, and YouTube income information so that I could reconcile it to the summary I was given. Unfortunately, I was just ignored and I wasn't given that information. And you can see in the conversation I had with Aaron that I asked several times for income information and finally was just plain denied the information and told they weren't hiding anything, that I didn't need the information. I guess uh, they just didn't want me to have it for some strange reason. But after getting deeper into the expenses, I started telling the ladies on my Facebook Messenger group about all the problems I was finding. The Messenger group included Anna Hogan and Norma Hargraves, who are part of the transition team. So all this time, these two women were fully aware of all the problems I was finding in the expenses. For instance, the SACO expenses are fully paid by the donors out of the donor account. And there are also some large bank withdrawals that I can't explain. And one case was $7,000 within about a 6-week period that I asked Aaron about. And he said that money was withdrawn for the senior home. The dates don't really match up, and the expenses for the senior home should have been paid directly to the contractors, not with a bank withdrawal and handing them cash. That was a little suspicious also, if that's the real reason the money was used. But I also told the ladies about Jim handing out money to a lot of different people, just random people I didn't know, and he would just get out his wallet and hand out money. I'm pretty sure it's not Jim's money. I'm pretty sure it's the donor's money, but I can't prove that. However, I did talk to Monica Sunday, who visited a year before I did, and she was the one who told me to watch out for Jim handing out money. She said she told him that it wasn't a good idea, and he told her he would change, but old habits die hard. He was still handing out money while I was there. Another thing I told the ladies about that I saw was an expense called office consumables. You would think that those are things that are bought for the office, but there were a lot of things that appeared to be Jim's household expenses, like hair dye and a rump roast and things like that that can't be used in the office with no kitchen. I mean, there is a little kitchen, but there's no refrigerator and not really any place to cook. So some of the things I found I thought were funny that he was trying to hide under office consumables. The largest thing that I told the ladies that really bothered me, besides the fact that I was denied the income information time and time again, was that Jim does not deposit the YouTube money into the bank account. Another thing, the bank account is just one account. All of these separate causes you see on the website, including ORM's medical bills and things like that, are all paid out of one account. There aren't separate accounts for the different causes like you're led to believe. Anyway, back to the YouTube money. Somebody in the group sent me a screenshot of the past 28 days, the earnings on YouTube, and it was around $7,400. The accountant told me that Jim does not deposit this money, that Jim uses this money to pay for field activities. But in these 6 months of expenses that I was reviewing, time and time again, Jim was reimbursed from the donor account for these field activities, including fuel, what he calls lunch for the volunteers, which, by the way, they don't always get, but it's cookies and juice, and some hydrogen peroxide and other things that he buys for the field. He's reimbursed through the donor account for those expenses. He does not use the YouTube money to buy those things. Let's see, what else? There's so much that I found in the books. It's crazy, all the things I found that were wrong. And it was just bothering me more and more. And I would tell the ladies just how frustrated I was and how shocked I was at all the things, at all the different ways that the money was misused. It was crazy. It was around this time I started wondering, where is all this money going? It's a lot of money because, as you can see in the summary that'll be in this video, an average a month to $10,000 a month that Jim makes on YouTube. And I couldn't understand why some of the things weren't getting done that the sponsors and donors had actually paid for. For instance, a friend of mine, I won't name names, but she sent money over a year ago for a woman. She sent about $1,000, and Jim never told her what her money was used for. Another thing was on the way to church, one of the churches, we went to two on a Sunday, and the second church, on the way to the second church, we went by a place that Jim said that Bridget's house was supposed to be built. Rhonda Cox had sponsored Bridget and her family and had sent money about a year ago for 2 different houses. Neither one of them had been built yet. Jim's reasoning was that if he wasn't there, the workers wouldn't work on the house. But from what I saw, while I was in the field with Jim, he sleeps while he's in the van, while the other workers are digging jiggers and doing other work. He sleeps, and I don't know why he couldn't have just pulled his van up there for a couple of days and made sure the work got done on those houses. But he didn't explain that to me. He just said it didn't get done. So there's a lot of money that's missing, and if I were you, I'd want to know where my money's going. Just because he says he's transitioning now and they're going to change things now, what about all the money for the last couple of years that people have sent in? Where did it go? That's what I want to know. And it's not just the money. Jim has lied about so many things. For instance, his upbringing. He says he grew up poor, but he grew up a pastor's son. And I found evidence of biographies he's done and letters he's written that state the opposite. He did not grow up poor. Also, in one letter, he said that his mother was gang raped and contracted HIV back in 2001. I'm pretty sure she doesn't have the money for the expensive HIV meds. And when I met his mother, when I was in Kenya, she looked perfectly healthy. So it's another thing he's lied about. Also, that 100,000 people he says he's treated, that is so bogus. There is no way they could treat over 100,000 people with one team in the field. One team in the field. Not several teams in the field, just one. The one you see on the videos, that's the only one there is. Speaking of this, the first day that I was out in the field, I saw them mix up one concoction, just one time. It was muddy after 3 or 4 people, but they kept using it, kept scrubbing people's feet in it, and then at the end of the day, they sent that muddy mess home with a few women to disinfect their homes. That muddy mess was not going to do anything to kill jiggers in their homes. Another thing I noticed that I think it was my second day while we were at the school and we were digging jiggers, the volunteers that are not on camera don't use Allocaine. Those poor children do not get any numbing medicine on their feet. They just get their jiggers dug and then it's on to the next person and they just run them through as fast as they can. But while I was over there, I took a tube of Allocaine with me and I put it on the other 4 or 5 little kids that I dug on because I couldn't do it without Allocaine. Just wasn't right. Let's see, there's just so much more. The day at the school, yeah. That was the day that I saw Jim beat Wafula, age 10, with the stick. And I think he said on the video that I couldn't handle things. I'm not sure the reason he gave, but I did run off to the van crying because I just couldn't stand to sit there and watch him beat that child just because the child was crying because he was in pain. And it wasn't his fault, but he kept telling the little boy that men don't cry. Well, he wasn't a man, according to Jim, because you're a man after 13 when you're circumcised. That poor boy, I felt so sorry for him. And I got a picture of Jim with a stick, and you'll see that here too. And if you go back and notice in other videos, you can see where people have sticks. So I don't think that was the first time that a stick was used to beat a crying child. I really don't. One more thing that I do want to talk about. If you do send money to Rise Up Society, don't send it Western Union. Rhonda Cox used to handle Jim's Kill the Jigger email, and I have a copy of a message where she told me that she saw emails between Jim and another one of his employees that the Western Union money is hard to trace and therefore it's easy to keep. And I do have a couple of instances where I told Anna she had sent money, Western Union, for Jim's car repairs in September of 2015. She sent $300. But then I found a receipt where Jim had been reimbursed for $149 of car repairs on the next day. So he just pocketed her $300 and then was reimbursed through the donor account for his car repairs. Also, she had sent money for a locked cabinet I didn't see and other things. There have been other people that have sent money Western Union, and I don't think the money made it where it was supposed to go. But if I can't prove it, then I'm not going to say for sure. So just don't send money Western Union, because it will not end up in the Rise Up Society bank account. It will end up in Jim DeRucci's pockets. I'll probably have to make another video because I can't think of everything on this one, but I just got so sick. Around the time I was pushing Aaron for more information on the income information, that's when my medication and my money got stolen. Several people have said that they think Jim had somebody steal my money and my medicine, but I can't prove that, so I won't say here or there. I've also been told that Jim drugged me while I was there, and that's why I've been so sick. Again, I'm not going to tell you anything I can't prove, and everything in this video so far I can prove. But like I said earlier, my email address will be at the end of the video. And I did make it home safe, finally, even after fainting in the middle of Nairobi airport and being so sick in Amsterdam and went to the medical clinic. They couldn't help me, but I made it home safe, and I'm home now, and I never want to see that place again. Kenya was beautiful, but some of the people there are not. You use your judgment. Again, ask me any questions you have, but Rise Up Society is not what it seems. Yes, they do help a few people, only the ones that you've seen on video. And if you've noticed how many videos Jim is putting out now, I don't know if he's putting out more videos just so he has more airtime to bash me, or if he's just trying to make all the money he can because he's worried that he's going to get shut down. Either way, just use your best judgment and ask me if you have any questions. See you guys later.